once upon a time, fairy tales were comfortable.
Yeah.
Here's a new one for you.
Right.
You might remember Cinderella. But a wave of the fairy god person's hand, and ta-da! A blended...
God person.
A blended family, beautiful stepsisters, unionised and equally shared light housework duties, a prince wearing a puffy PVC black dress and platform heels, cinders in a suit, mice freed from the indignity of pulling a pumpkin...
Are you making this up?
And a carbon-neutral hearth in the home. Of course I'm making it up, but the thing is, I made this up a couple of weeks ago. I put it in a Substack in response to the sensitivity readers who had completely ruined Roald Dahl's works. And I actually said to you on air a couple of weeks ago, wait till they find out about the fairy tales.
Well, this is when you nominated Puffin Books for Plank of the Week.
We did, I did. I
won
nominated Puffin for Plank of the Week. And there's a story being reported in the Telegraph and the Mail this week. These sensitivity readers have indeed got their hands on the Ladybird fairy tales published by Penguin. You almost can't make it up.
You really can't.
These morally cretinous, puritanical idiots would pour bleach into your brain if they could.
Yeah.
They really would. What they don't seem to understand is fairy tales aren't just the here and now. They're not just stories we're telling children now. They're stories that we've told children for hundreds of years.
Right.
And, you know, when you get a story like Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, it often appears in a very similar form in completely different cultures and languages because these stories speak to really deep archetypes. They can't rewrite them, even if they want to. They want to completely change the way you think. So, for instance, they want more gender-neutral language. They don't like love at first sight because they think it's wrong that you could fall in love with somebody
got to do with
before
them?
you meet them. But
what's it got to do with them?
It's just a story.
Yeah. Also, a lot of these stories have a great deal of cultural significance, shall we say, because they were part of a civilization. And part of a story, and by that I mean, you know, the history of our people, you know, and I mean the human race, not just any people, but everybody. You know, the reason that they tell stories in Aboriginal culture is because it's a part of the education process. The reason they tell stories in the Inuit culture is because it refers to how their life is. You can't go, well, let's not put all the snow and ice in there because, you know, that wouldn't work for people who might be reading this in Wembley.
There'll be a climate reason why you can't,
or you can't, of course. And I mean, it's all nonsense, isn't it? You know, Cinderella doesn't make anyone who reads it want to go off and find a prince and marry them. Does it?
Does. No, it does. It does, of course. It's a classic little girl dream. But that's why you
Well,
can...
what's wrong with that?
I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it. You can rewrite the flipping Ladybird book. You're not going to change the dream.
Right.
You're not going to change the archetypal story. And I tell you what, if they think Ladybird's bad, they should get hold of the originals. You know, in an original Sleeping Beauty iteration, she doesn't just get kissed and wake up. No, she wakes up and she's pregnant. I mean, a lot of these stories are actually not just... they're not just supposed to be magical with happy endings and they lived happily forever after. They're also cautionary tales. So we were laughing about Red Riding Hood before.
Right.
Of course, one interpretation of that is it's about encouraging young women to control their sexual desires, to stay on the right path in the forest of the unconscious. You know, what does the wolf represent? He's not a wolf.
That's quite a deep interpretation, though.
It's an interpretation, and you'll find there's lots of interpretations of fairy tales like that. But, you know, at another level, they just speak to little children of chivalry, of love, of happy endings, of magic, and of hope.